Hey guys, what's going on? Tua Cruz here, checking in with. We're here with Tuan Shan, and we're going to be doing a little walk here in downtown Singapore. And in today's video, I wanted to talk about some of our first impressions here in Singapore. So this is our first time in Singapore, first time for Tuan Shan, first time for me. And yeah, we've been really impressed with everything since coming here. We've only been here a few days so far, but really good impression. And I wanted to talk about some of those thoughts on today's walk. So where are we going to walk to today, Tuan Shan?
We will walk to Marina Bay Sandra.
Yeah?
And maybe garden.
And maybe the gardens?
Yes.
Okay, let's get going.
Let's go.
Let's go. So one of the nice things I've noticed with Singapore is pretty much no matter which road that you're walking on in the downtown area is just how clean the roads are. Like there's no garbage everywhere. The road conditions are really nice, and there's usually also nice sidewalks. This is one of the more narrow roads. They have a bunch of these pedestrian walkways, and you can see really massive. So we're by a busy road over here, but we've got this nice place to walk over here. We've got even more space to walk over here. So these are actually multi-use paths. So they're good for pedestrians walking. They're good for people with disabilities or mobility issues. They're good for cyclists. Even people on e-bikes can use them. And yeah, in addition to the quiet, well, we actually live in Vietnam now, so we're used to like really loud roads, and yeah, nobody's honking the horns. Most people are in cars, and the emission standards seem to be pretty nice on all the cars. There's not too many dirty fumes or anything like that. We're gonna cross over right now. So that's one thing that's really important for me in places that I travel to, and places like that I'm living, is just the pedestrian infrastructure, having a nice safe place that you can get to go shopping or go to work or wherever you need to go, and just having the cities be more walkable. So that's one thing that I've really been enjoying here in Singapore, is just the really good public transport network and being able to walk everywhere, take trains everywhere. And we've been on the folding bikes. We've been doing some folding bike tours. We're able to ride like across parts of the country and then take the train back if we're tired. So having that awesome public transportation network has been amazing. So yesterday it was a really hot day.
Yes.
And we didn't want to continue riding in the hot sun.
Yeah.
So we took the train back home. And Japan, where we used to live before, is pretty similar. Like it's spotless, you don't see much garbage anywhere. But in Japan, they don't have any public garbage bins. But in Singapore, they do have public garbage bins, or at least there's big garbage bins in front of a lot of different stores that you can use, or people seem to throw things away there. So if you need to find a place to throw some garbage away that you have, it's pretty easy to find here. Unlike in Japan, you usually have to carry your garbage with you all day until you find a convenience store. So one impression I had of Singapore before coming here was that it was very expensive, one of the most expensive places that you can travel to. And actually, I've been pretty surprised at how affordable like certain things are. The public transportation is very affordable, and also the food has been very affordable. So speaking of food, while we're walking over here, this is actually a place we've stopped to have dinner a few times. And they have these awesome like food markets with a bunch of different stalls inside. It's the F1 race weekend, so things are a little bit busier than usual. But yeah, you can see here we got a bunch of different food stalls and a bunch of different varieties. So these places are really affordable compared to like eating out at a nice fancy restaurant. You can just come to one of these places and you can get whatever you want. They have Indian food, Thai food, Malay food, Singaporean food, Japanese food, Korean food, pretty much everything that you could ever want, they have it here. So really nice budget-friendly options. Ippai tabereru ne. What's your favorite food you've had since we came here?
Noodle.
Noodles?
Yes.
Some spicy noodles?
Yes.
Yes. And it's not just this place. There's a lot of like similar type areas with just a lot of cheaper different food stands, and a lot of the local people seem to eat there as well. They don't do much home cooking. They're busy work schedules. They don't have enough space to really do all that. So yeah, a lot of the local people seem to eat there, and it's really affordable. And the other thing I really like about Singapore is just how many people are on bicycles, and not just people, they're integrating it into the like work culture. So there's a lot of food delivery, that are using e-bikes and also other different services that are using the bicycle technology. So on our channel, we usually film videos about cycling. That's one of the main reasons we came here to Singapore, was to just test out all the different cycling infrastructure, and we've been really pleasantly surprised. The other nice thing in Singapore is there's always something going on. We got some cool live performances going on, and we're gonna cross over here again. The other nice thing that's really safe here is when you're crossing the street, the cars always yield to the pedestrians. Unlike Vietnam, the cars do not yield to the pedestrians. ね、ベトナムで道渡るとき、車全然待ってくれないな。Yeah. In Vietnam, the cars and the bikes have the right of way. But in Singapore, pedestrian is king. That's the way it should be, of course. So Tunchan, have you been enjoying your time in Singapore so far?
Yes.
Yes? What are you enjoying most?
Cycling.
Cycling?
Cycling fast.
Cycling path?
Yes. I'm really like.
What do you like about the cycling path?
It's so clean.
Yeah? Beautiful?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It's so big.
So big, away from the cars.
Yes.
Yeah, it's in the park,
Yes.
so no gas smell,
No gas.
no danger.
Yes.
Yeah. So a nice safe place to ride the bicycle and exercise.
Yes.
Yeah, that's another big thing we've been impressed with here in Singapore is the green space. There's a lot more like parks, trees, and grass, and just places to sort of escape the city even though you're in a large city. We're going to be walking to a nice garden later. You're never too far from green here in Singapore. And yeah, just check this out. We're walking downtown, surrounded by all these massive, tall buildings. The next thing I wanted to mention, which is kind of unique to us in our position, is since coming to Singapore, we've never met so many fans like out in public.
Yes.
It's like a first for us. Like, of course, when we were living in Japan, when we were in Thailand, when we were in Vietnam, we occasionally like meet some of our fans, people who watch our channel, but that's only at the cycling event or like the cycling course. But here in Singapore, we've been approached like everywhere.
Yes.
At the restaurant,
Yes.
in front of the hotel, just walking on the sidewalk. And Tung also gets approached to be like, oh, excuse me, are you Vietnamese? I know you. So we've had a great time here in Singapore. Thank you to everyone who's come to say hello. And yeah, sorry we weren't able to organize another meeting to meet all of you guys. We're definitely going to be coming back to Singapore in the near future and try and plan something a little bit better. And yeah, big thank you to all of our awesome fans over here in Singapore. So that's another awesome thing, is the people in Singapore are really nice. We've had a really nice warm welcome here. Mobot, the bike company that we work with, they've been a great host. They've helped lend us some bikes that we could use while we're here, and they helped introduce us to some other YouTubers here. So we've been cycling with Nini Jiang, and yeah, just everyone we've met here has been super kind, super accommodating, helping us get around. And yeah, just check all these people out on the folding bikes. It's so cool to see so many people here in Singapore out cycling. So we actually just arrived here at the Marina Bay. We had to crouch down by this light because it's the only light here to get some good lighting. And check out this nice view. So this is the other like huge thing that's left a good impression on us, is just the city skyline, like all the unique buildings here, and just the architecture is just beautiful. Like they have these modern tall buildings, but not only these, like going through some of the older towns, they have the old style like townhouses where they have the shop down in the bottom and then the family would live above. Like just loving all the different types of architecture here, and also the diversity. Like that's another thing that's really stood out to me here is like, yeah, there's Chinatown, there's Little India, there's all these different areas which are unique, and it's a blend of all these different cultures. So it's really nice to see that here in Asia, because a lot of Asian countries, they don't really have that much diversity. In Japan, it's like 98% Japanese, and yeah, same thing in Korea and Vietnam. And further over this way, that's where they're doing the F1 race. We're gonna try and get close to the tracks to see what we can see, but we couldn't afford the tickets to go there, and we weren't planning to be here during the F1 race. That was an unexpected surprise. Poor planning on our part. Okay, we figured out the setup. We gotta use the phone light. The other thing we wanted to mention was the weather here in Singapore. We got a lot of like warnings before we came here saying like, watch out, Singapore weather is crazy hot. But actually, it's been really comfortable. Yeah, especially like walking out at night here, we were expecting it to be crazy hot, crazy humid. And compared to the Vietnamese summer, which we've been living through, it's so much hotter there at night, like the humidity. But we can walk out here at night in Singapore, it's nice and cool.
Yeah.
So it's not so bad. So that was a nice surprise, having the cooler weather here in Singapore than what we thought it was going to be. So Tunchan, do you have any other impressions of Singapore?
Surprise for me, there a lot of people cycling by, folding bike.
Yeah, lots of folding bikes.
Yeah, I know. In Singapore, cycling is popular,
Yeah.
but I think it's the only road bike. But when I come to Singapore, I see a lot of people cycling by green bike. Wow!
Yeah. Ah, what about the Japanese food?
Japanese food.
Yeah,
Good.
good.
Yes.
まあ、日本の店いっぱいある。
Yes.
それも。So going back to the food topic, that's another thing that was really surprising for us is it's not just like the local diverse like foods that they have, but they also have a lot more international food options. We saw a bunch of stuff like Shake Shack. It got really popular here. So stuff I haven't seen in so long since being back in America. It's really cool to see those different branches here. And also a lot of Japanese branches, Japanese restaurants. Our first meal here, we ate at Mamezon, which is a really popular tonkatsu or miso katsu restaurant, which is actually based in Nagoya, which is the center of Japan, which is where we lived before, and not something we expected to see outside of Japan, honestly. So that was a big surprise. I guess there's a large Japanese population here in Singapore, so they have lots of Japanese supermarkets. So for us, like we've lived in Japan for 7 years of our life, it's a really familiar and comfortable thing to be able to have all these different Japanese food options here. So we really like that, and just everything else, the infrastructure, the apartment design, the pathways, and all the organization of everything. Like it's a really orderly and organized country. So we especially noticed that after coming from Vietnam, which is just pretty chaotic sometimes. So it's really nice.
Mà tôi đi xay nó tôi beep beep rồi nè.
Yeah, no beep beep.
No beep beep.
Nice and quiet here in Singapore. Although today a little loud. Yeah, it's the weekend now. It's the party weekend. It's the F1 weekend. So yeah, a little noisy this weekend, but normally maybe not so bad. Alright guys, we're going to finish up this video here, and I hope you guys enjoyed us talking about some of our first impressions here in Singapore. If there's anything we missed, anything that you noticed in your trip to Singapore, let us know down in the comments and we'll be glad to read those. We're going to continue on walking here, try and see if we can get closer to the F1 course, and we're going to film some walking videos for Tuanchan's channel, so make sure you're subscribed to both Tubo Cruise and Tuan's channel, links down in the description, and you can see some more videos of us here in Singapore. That's going to be it for this video. We want to say a special thank you to all of our awesome supporters over on Patreon. Thanks to your guys' support, we're able to do this series and film more videos like this, so a big thank you to you guys, and we'll see you next time here on Tubo Cruise.
Bye bye.